He's done it. Not only did I not go live when I was meant to go live last night, I've also gone live earlier than what I was meant to this morning. So yeah, apologies for that. On that note, genuinely was planning to, I had all good intentions to go live last night. And yeah, me and Sarah started watching The Boys. Sarah's playing catch up because she fell asleep every time we put it on. Yeah, you don't need to know that stuff anyway. So yeah, we end up watching all the episodes that I watched anyway, and I end up falling asleep as well, which is why I didn't go live. And look, it's not about me today. It's not about anything really to do with me. So I don't want to talk too much, but I hope you're all good. I hope you're well. Spoke to a few of you in the chat, spoke to a few of you on your chats and stuff. So yeah, I know that a few of you are doing good, but I hope the rest of you are good. I hope everybody's having a nice day on this Saturday. It is Saturday, isn't it? It's been a messed up week, man. We've had a lot going on within the family. I'm not going to get into that because it's not about me. Anyway, talking ish, what I'm here for and why I've gone early is because you know what I'm like. Most of you know what I'm like. I struggle to get edits up on time or out consistent. And I've been meaning to do this, and I didn't want to do it as a live. I wanted to sort of montage a little edit together, a little commentary type video. But I haven't got the time, so I thought I'm just going to go live now. I know that my dad's on his way round. I know that my stepdad Kev's on his way round in a little while, so I've got things happening today, so I need to just get this out there. And you may not have the time to watch it now. That's not a problem, but please do watch this video all the way to the end, because we're going to be talking about the thing that I told you about on my last live. I hope you can hear me. The microphone just muffled up a little bit there. But yeah, what I mentioned on my last live was these 15/20 minute neighbourhoods. I spoke to Rich this morning. He knew nothing about these. He's never heard of them. So he weren't paying attention on the last live. But I know some of you have, and some of you will be experiencing changes within your local areas already. This is something that's going to affect us all, right? Whether you like it or not, it's going to affect us all. And I'm not here to try to scare you, to try to put the frighteners into you or whatever. I just want you to see some of the information that I've seen. And then I want to make your mind up. I want you to make your own mind up, basically. And I believe that in these 3 videos, 2 are fairly long, so it's going to be like a good hour over it, maybe just over. So yeah, if you can't watch it now, save it till later. Listen to it. You don't have to watch the video. It's very informative verbally. I'm not politically correct. I don't often say things that are politically correct. I don't know. I might do. I might not. I'm not normally into politics and stuff like that. And this is not. Well, I suppose it is about politics, but it's more about our futures. So yeah, stay tuned. Without further ado, I'm going to give something a test run. I'm going to play a little video, and then after that, have a little chat, and then maybe play another video. Or I might just roll all 3 videos out, because from here on out to the end, you're going to hear and find out everything and anything you need to know about these 15/20 minute neighbourhoods, towns, cities, whatever they're going to be. You're going to know all about who's been planning and signing these off and sort of okaying it in the politics sort of realm. You're going to find out about the 16, is it the 16 or 17 sustainable goals that they're trying to aim to get towards by 2030. And like I say, it's yeah, it's definitely going to affect a lot of people, and it's up to you to make up your minds whether that's in a positive way or a negative way. So yeah, let's just play this video, shall we? Let's just do it.
Good evening, welcome. Thank you all for being so understanding about recamping over to here. I'm Jane James. I am the Mayor of Thetford and also the Chairperson of Thetford Town Council. So our first part is our 15-minute public question time. We will be sticking to that. There is a maximum of 5 minutes per speaker. So those are our standing orders, and those are the rules that all speakers who come to Thetford Town Council engage with. Obviously, should it become apparent that we need to do something more, we will reconvene another meeting, because We are... This isn't a discussion at this point. I'm making a statement. I'm sorry. If you want this public question time facilitated, we will do so within the rules. If you don't, I will leave.
We'll follow you.
Which is exactly what we expect of you.
So, we have our first question.
13th of December 2022. It's a Tuesday night. I'll take you back to the Norfolk County Council.
It was Tuesday during the day.
You made a decision on our behalf to vote in favour of a 20-minute neighbourhood plan for the County of Norfolk. Since then, we found out that Thetford, along with Attleborough and Rackheath, are to be considered for trial towns for said programme. What gave you the right to vote for me about an issue which is going to dramatically affect everything? Why did you think that that was okay to vote on our behalf without a public meeting, without consultation, or without any evidence being put before us as to how that's going to affect and detriment our lives, which it will?
I'm really pleased that you've used the word evidence.
Okay.
Because if you refer back to the motion that you're referring to,
Okay.
it said to explore and understand so that we can collate the information and go, is it a good idea or not a good idea?
No, it's rubbish.
Hang on.
No.
Listen, it doesn't matter about the evidence. The mere suggestion that we should have our lives, it doesn't matter what evidence you collate, collude, or gain together at a later date. You should have, as a town mayor, as a town person, in your biography, you talk about, I'm passionate about Thetford. Well, I've got to be honest, there's a lot of people here tonight that are pretty concerned as to why you're making decisions on their behalf without consultation. And I'm one of them. With that in mind, let me tell you now, I don't consent. I don't need your help. And take away my Now, bearing in mind, you've got an election coming up on the 4th of May. Okay? We've removed that consent. We will do our best to make sure that you don't get in, because you're there as a councillor. You're there for us. Okay? You operate for us.
All residents' views.
You work for us. Now you.
I am there to represent all residents.
Yeah, all residents. So who did you ask? Who did you ask? Who did you consult?
There is no. We are going into that exploratory consultation phase.
But you voted. You voted. Well, you should have abstained and said, well, hang on a second, until I get further information. I bet you even go compare for car insurance. I bet you don't take the first quote. But you took the first quote from the council. You followed suit. You've swum with the tide. That's not good enough for us. As a councillor, we want you to work for us. As a Thetfordian, we want you to work for us.
You go back to Bracknell.
Absolutely no way do I consent. No way.
You go back to Bracknell and tell them the people of Thetford say no.
So, as the gentleman rightly stated, it was a Norfolk County Council meeting that motion was put forward to explore. There is no decision yet. We don't have the information available. So we can't make a decision if we don't have that information.
So, has Norfolk County Council explored Agenda 2030?
And that is part of the work.
Have they explored it?
That is part of the work that they're doing now.
With all due respect, we want a councillor, not a messenger. We don't want you coming back from the county council saying, "Oh, this is what they want." That's not what we want. We've got to be discussed. It has to go through a democracy. I've got to be honest. I've lost all faith in you. I read your biography. It means nothing to me. I policed this town for 13 years. I policed by consent. If the public took away that consent, I was pretty much snooping. You're in the same position. You govern with consent. Well, that consent's going. Trust me, I'll make sure. I'll take it upon myself to ensure that the people of this town realise what is going on. And you can't stop me. You won't stop me. Let me put it that way.
It's quite apparent that we're not going to get through everything that people want to discuss with you tonight. Is it possible to re-adjourn this and have more time allocated to discuss what's going on and look at the evidence that you're looking into with regards to the 20-minute timeline to drive.
Do you support it?
Thank you. I can't make that decision on behalf of the council, but the town clerk would like to speak.
How do you go about organising another meeting with yourself?
Can I just interject a moment? If I could make a suggestion, possibly the best way forward for this is to have a meeting where we invite Norfolk County Council to come and sit at that meeting, because at the moment they are the people who have the information and we do not.
Our representatives here.
Yes, but I am one of 2 representatives of the town. The other one isn't here.
However, even as one person, as the same with all our councillors, if they're on a committee, they have a much more in-depth knowledge of what is happening on that particular committee.
We might as well go and hang ourselves.
The thing is, in Norfolk County Council's literature, it sounds great, but having been in Oxford 2 weeks ago, the businesses are closing, the roads are shut, none of the locals really knew the full impact. When we was walking around Oxford handing out leaflets, people were gobsmacked, and the same thing is happening here. People wouldn't know about this unless they've been made aware of it by us.
Sorry, I completely hear what you're saying, and obviously I'm trying to find a useful way forward for everybody involved. Okay, if you hold on a second, please. If you want our councillors to make a decision, a good decision.
The decision's been made.
No.
You ain't got to make one.
Hold on. Thetford Town Council has not made any decisions on this. It does. Yes, I know. I'm saying.
There's nobody here supporting the.
Hold on. What I'm saying is that Thetford Town Council has not yet made a decision. So if we want representation to go to Norfolk, what we need is a logical, reasoned argument that is brought to us by the residents that the councillors can then discuss, and they can agree what they're going to take to Norfolk as a representation for Thetford. So yes, certainly. Well, what we'd do is we'd get the Carnegie. But what I'm saying is, at the moment, you know, we haven't been sent any information by Norfolk or Breckland. And so we cannot make, well, not me, because I'm not a councillor, but you know, you're asking councillors to make, hold on, please. So what I'm saying is, if all of our councillors, because there's going to be 18 of them in May, they need to have a look at the information. And you all need to write into the council with what your things are. Yeah, of course.
All that costs a lot of money.
Just very quickly, I've got a good suggestion. All the wit and pipe you just come out with doesn't get taken off my 15 minutes. I want to hear people's questions, and I want to hear that side. We can't use your responses as part of that 15 minutes, because otherwise time's up.
You wouldn't do no, that's fine. But it's just a suggestion.
Can I just say that I am all for having local services available for local people. I am not there to see people's rights of movement restricted. That is not what this is about. And if it is what if that is what it is about, once the exploration has been done, I will be against it, because it is not right.
It will be quick. It will be steaming a little bit. I am more than happy to work with you. I'm more than happy to work with you on that basis. I'm more than happy to work with you. There's plenty of us that can do it, but I'm more than happy to give you my contact details. I've got nothing to hide. I want the best for my grandchildren, my children, their businesses, and my life. I don't choose and I don't consent to what they want. Okay, but if you're telling me, and please don't turncoat on me, because that would be horrendous for you.
Seriously.
That would end really badly for the council, for everything. I will work with you if you're prepared to fight this with us. If you're not, then we're enemies.
Together, that's what we need to do. We need to focus on what's best for Thetford, and restricting people's movements is not in Thetford's best interest. Getting better local services in our area, as you say, for your children and your grandchildren and my children, and crikey, that's an awful thought, my grandchildren. It is about getting better local services here. If you choose to travel, that is choice, and we are a nation of choice.
Just to bring something else to the fore. Just to bring something else to the fore that you're probably not aware of. Just to bring something else to the fore that you're probably not aware of is that Oxford, one of the trial areas,
Listen in, Oxford's being spoken about. Please listen in.
has been split into 6 zones. People crossing from one zone to the other more than 100 times a year are being fined.
Even if you live in the zone.
Even if you live in the zone.
7 in the morning to 7
Now this is the thin end of the wedge, and this is where it goes.
We can give you all the information you need. We can give you a lot more than they'll give you, trust me.
This is where it goes. This is part of a global agenda called 2030.
In ensuring that we don't restrict people's movement. Lady, I would really like to hear that lady in the back. She has been patiently waiting. Thank you.
If this does happen, right, my son gets bused to a specialist school out of Thetford, right? How am I supposed to get him to a school in a 20-minute time zone? That doesn't work. There is no specialist school in Thetford for disabled children. There is nothing here for disabled children. You've got 2 doctor's surgeries as well, 1 dentist. What am I supposed to do?
Completely understand, and that is exactly the reason why I am against those restrictions in movements, should they ever be proposed. And I say that because they haven't been proposed yet, but should they be, I will fight that. Councillor Taylor.
Can you all hear me? Can you hear me at the back? Right, I've tried to make a proposal. I can't because of the way the formality runs. So I'm going to make a suggestion to you, the people of Thetford, and guests who come in tonight. We've only got 1 county councillor here tonight. What we need to do, I think at the minute, everybody's made themselves very vocal. We need to get the other county councillors that are on Thetford Council. We need to get Breckland involved, because Breckland sits at the county level as well. I suggest that you suggest to the town clerk and the chairman here, I suggest that you ask for an emergency meeting in a bigger room where you can all get in at a longer period. We get all the county councillors in here and everybody that's got something to say. We are going through what we call in the military command push rather than recce pull. You need to be telling these councillors what you want and what you don't want. Don't let them tell you. But I suggest you ask for an emergency meeting. No, the problem we've got now is we're all crammed in here, and I've got you in on wing of prayer. If we could get into the likes of the Carnegie room and have a 4-hour session and get the correct people, because don't forget the poor old councillors are in Labour and Conservative. They have to take the whip. They have to do as they're told. You need to put a lot of the main people under pressure by getting them down to our town. Now, I suggest the groundswell of opinion is here. Let the clerk do her job. Let her come out with an emergency meeting in a bigger venue. Let's get ourselves ready and get back up there and put everybody under pressure rather than just the 1 county councillor who's here tonight.
So how are you going to inform us when you get this emergency meeting together?
I would suggest that you have a really fantastic network already in this room, and I'm going to make you work for it.
Yeah, that's about right.
It's about working together, isn't it? 100%. So if we can utilise this groundswell of support that has been gathered, let's do it.
The thing is, what you've got to understand is, from your position, you are the decision maker that can help us. But we are the troops that are going to do the groundwork. We're the support network that you need.
and for any information like that, the communication is to
100%. Yeah.
Can I just make a quick suggestion for the benefit of the next
Ladies and gentlemen, I will take one more question. We have overrun slightly, but I'm mindful of an allegation of filibustering, so I would hate to support that. The gentleman in the red gilet, please, you have been very patient.
Thank you very much. I've been studying this for a number of years, probably about 10, 15 years now, so I followed it from the Club of Rome formation document, which was called The Limits to Growth. And in that book, or rather in that document, a cabal of ex-Roman dynasty, kind of ruling dynasty people got together and decided that they needed to unite humanity against a common cause, which in order to manipulate humanity into some outcome. So the Club of Rome was produced in 1972. That has then fed into the 1992 Rio Summit, where Agenda 21 was formed. The Agenda 21 wasn't happening quick enough for the elite, so they actually rolled it into Agenda 2030. Now, I'd ask, has every councillor read all 17 of the Sustainable Development Goals? Are they aware of them? SDG 17 specifically states that the UN and the World Economic Forum, who are working in partnership with one another, are to circumnavigate national governments and come down with funding at the municipal and council level to ensure that these demonic regimes are pushed through, and then they're going to force through digital IDs, and it's going to be 50 million cities
You've highlighted some bedtime reading for all councillors. Thank you.
Make sure they get it.
With that, I am going to close the public meeting period.
There's a lot of people in that meeting, even if we take it Carnegie, so everybody can take part for the benefit of us as councillors, so we can actually hear the concerns. Perhaps within yourselves organize so to have 3, 4, 5 speakers in nucleus of information, nuggets of information to make it easier for us to go through that meeting. Because a lot of people has a lot to say. We want to hear those opinions. But if they're collated and we have 3 or 4 speakers on behalf of everybody, it'll make it easier for us to go through this meeting without having to hold people for 3 or 4 hours in a place.
Give you some pre-meeting reading material.
We don't want to do that, but that's not an issue. It's just to facilitate on the day. I think we didn't want to organize and then want to get straight to the point.
You'll call it conspiracy material.
So long as we work into the same aim.
Thank you all very, very much for your time. I appreciate that it's potentially not the outcome. It's not an outcome, but your voices have been heard loud and clear. I have stated I am against those kind of travel restrictions that you guys are so frightened about. It's not right. I did not vote for those. I voted for education and awareness and to learn about it, to investigate. This is how this world works.
Oh, God.
Thank you. Thank you.
We can help you because we've done the research. That's why we're here. We know what's coming. And if it's allowed to happen, it's horrendous. There is nothing good ever going to come of this.
We can't do those sort of restrictions. So
We will not be prisoners in our own town. That's as simple as that. And that is exactly what it is.
Everyone's here to fight.
thank you all very, very much for your time. We are heading back to King's House. The actual main line.
That's the text audience, right?
You are very welcome.
It's pretty much at the end, a couple of minutes of a few more little updates, but you get the gist. You get the gist. Let's get back to that one. Yeah, so that's that. I weren't there, James. Appreciate you all in the chat. I weren't expecting anyone to pop in. One, because I started it early, and 2, because it's almost like, middle of the day. But yeah, without further ado, I think just why not just roll straight into the other one. That's just one community, and I don't doubt that there's going to be a lot more out there, as I've said, and you can hear their opinions, their concerns, literally their concerns for what could potentially be this It's one of them.
Is
This
your
one's got a little
website
bit
bounce
more
rate sky high?
information.
Find out why with Hotjar. Hotjar shows you how
Hear that
people
now.
interact with
I
your
want to
site.
get rid of this.
You'll see how far they
Yeah, I'm not
scroll,
familiar with this.
learn why they.
There we go. Yeah, so I know. Was it who was saying in the chat? Sean was saying it's happening in Ireland. The thing is, look, I don't let this stuff stress me out. It does play on my mind at times, and it does, like, I think of my kids and I think of their kids. And I think, yeah, if this is my gut feeling from the last time we done that live, when I done the live last week, I said, what if it gets to the point where they can't, you know, you're limited to when you can leave, how many times you can leave, depending on how compliant you are. And what does it mean to be compliant? Just do as what they say, whether that is in the form of the digital IDs, the vaccines, or whatever it is. It could be anything. If you don't comply, limited access to your banks, limited access to travel, like I said before. This one goes into a bit more detail about what the last guy was talking about, and it stems back from the 1970s. So yeah, call us tinfoil hat wearers or whatever you want to call us, right? But it's happening, right? So these things that people were calling conspiracies for years and years and years and years, and many of people got slammed and cancelled and stuff, and, you know, weren't allowed to speak about because it was a conspiracy, and now playing out in front of us. And the people that have signed it off, like the mayor of Thetford, she didn't even know what she was signing off. And the fact that she was able to give consent on behalf of all of the people within Thetford is mind-boggling. And that's the concern, that's the worry. It's not even like, I think the 15, 20-minute neighbourhoods would be quite cool. Do you know what I mean? We'd have to walk, and you could walk anywhere to anything. That's just, to break it down, it's that you'll have a hospital in walking distance, supermarket, doctors, anything that you need. I don't know what else you'd need. But then when you think of that being all you would need, there'd be some more. I'm just thinking off the cuff, but why would you need to venture out? Well, because I want to go and see Rich and James and go climb Helvellyn. No, that ain't a good enough reason. Can you see where we're going? Imagine if it gets to that point where it's like, no, you're not going beyond that area. You're in this community. You know, something that Russell Nutt always says about bringing back the communities and stuff. And this could work in a way, in a system like this, but at the same time, it's the people that oversee and control that will potentially have the final say anyway. Anyways, let's have a little look-see. So am I on the right one? Oh, we've started. Let's go back because you want to see this. This is a bit deep, this one. All right, so if I go back to share screen, sorry, I've got a bit of a dry mouth. You don't want to see me, so let's go on to that, and then we'll go on to this, and then we'll hit, oh, volume on. Ah, you had to have some freaking music, didn't you? Let's get me in there.
So we have no LTN plans for LTN.
Probably not.
Now this council has never debated. It's never come up. 15-minute cities, 20-minute neighbourhoods, 15-minute neighbourhoods. We've never debated it. We've never had it on the agenda. As far as I'm aware, it's not going to be put forward as an agenda item anytime soon. And I certainly think that in some context, it wouldn't really be something that this town would be big enough to even consider, because as somebody put on Facebook in response to this, there aren't many places you can walk to in the town that don't take 15 minutes to get to. What I would say is that it might be irrelevant, but I'm just saying this council has never, ever decided. There's never been on the agenda. So whoever was telling you that it was on the agenda tonight has misled you in the same way that you're misled by the list that apparently came from UK 100.
This is a top-down operation. It's a massive agenda, multi-trillion-dollar. They're not going to give in just because you turn around and say, well, we're not having it. They want the whole globe covered in this. And they're not going to stop because we're dealing with cyber.
Okay, so look, I have the great honour and privilege of being the Mayor of Glastonbury. I can tell you that Glastonbury Town Council...
You put that flag up there now, didn't you?
I tell you that Glastonbury Town Council is not doing 15-minute cities, 20-minute neighbourhoods, or 15-minute neighbourhoods. I'm telling you that now in a public debate that's being screened on YouTube. Every one of our meetings is screened on YouTube. So if you want to, look at this again and hear me say it, this is not something that's happening here. And Mendip District Council have never signed up to 15-minute cities.
What about Somerset? Do you know about that?
Well, they haven't signed up to it, but as far as I'm aware, but I'm not a member of Somerset Council. There are 2 members of Somerset Council here. I'll just ask them quickly.
I am the a Conservative unitary councillor. There was some suggestion that this had been passed historically.
Yeah.
I spoke to the Conservative leader. I can literally, anyone that wants to look at my phone can see, and he said, I only heard of 15-minute cities yesterday, and I absolutely do not support that. I'm answering the question. So if you want to disbelieve him, you can write to him personally. I can tell you, I asked him, and this is the answer he gave me.
You don't have to shout.
Well, I clearly do if you're going to try and shout me down when I'm speaking.
Well, everyone's quiet.
The lady was heckled. The lady was heckled.
No bother, Susan.
And I don't know, I'm sure Nick can speak for the Lib Dems, but.
Yeah, I'm quite happy to speak for the Lib Dems on this one. And as far as I know, Somerset County Council has not endorsed it. There was one of our members who seemed to recall a long time ago that the previous administration had done it, but he could be mistaken. It's quite easy. It's quite easy. Long time ago memory. We've got. No. So we have an ex Somerset County councillor here who would know, and Terry would know.
I can tell you that the first I heard about 15-minute cities was about, I don't know, a fortnight ago. And I thought, what on earth is that all about? It certainly was not debated at our last millennium. So I can tell you that there's nothing at all to do from the last millennium. Whether it's going forward now, no. I don't know. And we're being told no. So please adhere to that. That's all I can tell you.
Well, I guess the place to go and ask that question is to go to the meeting of the new unitary authority when it meets and ask them the question. But as far I understand sanctity, but just to reiterate, this council has no plans and has never debated 15-minute cities, 20-minute neighbourhoods, or 15-minute neighbourhoods, and that is the best. That is the best I can do as the mayor of the town, is to tell you that. That's the truth of it.
Yes.
If there was, well, yes, of course, any decision by any group can get overridden in certain circumstances, but as far as this council is concerned, we're not doing 15-minute cities. Well, it means.
If they say that that's what to do, would you fight it?
I think that Glastonbury would fight it, wouldn't it? Well, we represent the people of Glastonbury. If the people of Glastonbury don't want 15-minute cities, then we represent that, don't we? That's what we're here for.
Yes.
Right.
So.
Well, if we don't, you know what to do next time there's an election, don't you? So, Sandy, would you like to speak now? I got it.
Thank you, and thank you. Well, Leela's covered a lot of what I was going to speak about, which is great because it leads me to look at the bigger picture. And yes, it's great that I couldn't find anything in Mendip District Council about 15-minute cities, but it's important that we know about them, and it's important that we know about low, the low emission zones that they want to implement in smaller towns. So what I'm just saying is basically this ideology isn't a grassroots, the whole 15-minute city ideology is not a grassroots initiative. It's actually a global initiative. And it was brought in by Boris Johnson, Michael Bloomberg and Carlos Moreno in 2004 under the C40 Cities International organization, which Sadiq Khan is now the chairman. Contrary to propaganda, it's not a grassroots initiative, yeah, I've said that, but a top-down global plan under UN Agenda 21-2030 to really roll out the 17 sustainable goals under net zero. I know that all the green people here are comfortable with net zero, but if you understood the longer term implications of net zero, and I've given you all the absolute zero document, and I hope you'll read it, because that coloured bit shows you what is to be achieved by 2030, and that means no flying out of the UK, no ships out of the UK, no cars at all, and no, all wood burners to be ripped out of every home and every gas appliance to be ripped out of every home by 2025. Now, that is a government document, UK fires, absolute zero, and this is where we're heading for with net zero. We will literally be imprisoned on our own island. And this is what this top-down global control is all about. You think it's a green agenda to actually save the planet. It is not. It was implemented at the Earth Summit in 1992 by a bunch of oil billionaires, crooks. And and all of you, bless you, are trying to save the planet, and you've been hoodwinked. I was in the Green Party in the 1990s. I left. I was a member of the Ecology Party. I left because it got taken over. It became a Trojan horse for the technocratic agenda that I'm talking about, Agenda 2030. And I tell you what, they planned this from the 1970s. It's a long-term agenda, and I would love to be able to give all of you a presentation. I've been on this for 15 years, and I've been giving talks all over the world about this via YouTube, everywhere, because I'm passionate about it. I've impoverished myself doing this. So I just want you to just hear me out. We're living now in what's known as what's coming is what's known as a zero trust world. So whether you know it or not, the digital ID is coming. Now, this is a big thing for everyone to understand. Digital ID is really the way the government will actually have all your data in one place. And they're bringing this in by December this year. This is really serious. And then they want the CBDCs after that, the central banking digital currencies. Now, this has got nothing to do with being green. It's big business. It's massive business, because underpinning this whole agenda are capitalist stakeholders. Now, this is what's worrying, is that this whole green agenda is based on top-down control of us, we the people. And unfortunately, people who literally glue themselves to buildings, bless them, they've got our best intentions at heart. They're barking up the wrong tree. They're actually supporting the people who want to imprison us. Well, it's communitarianism, call it whatever you like. But either way, it's not anything about our rights and freedoms. It's about destroying our rights and freedoms. And Ian, you're a butcher. Look down that list. By 2030, they want to get rid of meat and lamb and everything. This is ludicrous. This is all being done without our consent. All of this is in place. And the zero trust world means that you will not be able to, they're getting rid of VPN. You will not be able to open your computer or any other you won't be able to access your bank account, your health records, anything, or even go into a hospital without your digital ID. Your digital ID will be unlocked by your facial recognition, and in that process, you'll be data harvested. Your data will be harvested from all from your digital ID. Every bit of your information will be on there. That is being sold to stakeholders on the blockchain by non-fungible tokens. I don't know if you understand all this, but this is actually your data is being sold on the blockchain, or it will be. And this is a form of currency. This form of currency they will be using is the CBDC, is from the CBDCs, from the central banking digital system. Every time you make a transaction, everything's recorded, tracked and traced. And so they will know all your shopping habits, your health records, everything. All that is sold. So we are becoming a commodity. Us human beings will become a commodity. And that's what the whole global enslavement is about. And we have to be really careful, because it's all tied up with the 17 goals, and it's implemented by the United Nations. If you think the United Nations are our friend, you are wrong. The United Nations, oh, sorry, I've lost it. The United Nations and the World Economic Forum are working together, and there's a document on that table which proves that the government are working alongside the World Economic Forum, and they are bringing in drone technology which will be surveilling us from the air. In that document, a government document, it says they will have 900,000 drones flying in our skies by 2030.
They're already here.
Well, we know they're here, but we're not seeing 900,000 of them. But you know, this is a bigger picture that we have to look at. And what I would really welcome is if we could have, I mean, the people in this room are worried about it. They know about it. And you know, if the councillors aren't aware of this huge pernicious march of AI technology, then we need to talk about it. This is Glastonbury. We can action things that will go out to the whole world. And that is the most important thing, John, that whatever happens in Glastonbury reverberates around the whole world. You know that, I know that, we know that. We have to really take some sort of action and stop this absolute march of AI technology that is actually there to control us, enslave us, turn us into a commodity and restrict our movement and turn us into a prison planet. Because the digital ID will actually stop you. It's like the Chinese social credit system. You will be stopped from doing things or saying things if your credit score isn't right. They will be literally, our whole currency will be run, because they're getting rid of cash, the currency will be run by your carbon credits, which has all been set up to trick you basically into not moving out of your smart city apartment, have everything delivered by drone, and to you to experience life through a virtual reality headset. That's all in the pipeline too. So we need to really work out where, is this a world that we want our children to grow up in and our grandchildren? And please, can we have an open and honest debate about this and about your green policies? Because it's not green and it's not democratic, and it is actually working against us. It will enslave us. Your green policies will enslave us. Obviously, we all want a beautiful you know, planet that isn't polluted. We can deal with that without the top-down control and the AI. And that's what we need to strive for, is a beautiful green planet, properly green, not astroturfed. And you know, and we must understand the you know, the whole thing with CO2 in this, because even I as a kid was taught that CO2 is the gas of life. It makes things grow. If you talk about net zero, it's zero you, it's zero me, it's zero plants, it's zero everything. And the carbon, you know, CO2 rises from the sea. The most of it rises from the sea. It's not anthropogenic. It's not. And I want this to be looked at properly, because everything has been skewed by the IPCC, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, that was set up after the Earth Summit to actually skew all the data. And actually, it was all found out in ClimateGate 2009. Look it up, where the 1,079 emails were hacked by an American. I think that's why Assange is in jail. But by the Americans actually finding out that the Hadley Research Centre and the University of East Anglia were actually lying about the climate data, which actually sent us into the whole climate change thing. So we need to, and also the Club of Rome have admitted that they've created climate change to make humanity if you like, the scapegoat, and make us the enemy. And that's in the first Global Revolution, page 115, a very interesting Club of Rome document, which actually made up the bones of Agenda 2030, well, 21, which became Agenda 2030 in 2015 when it was endorsed by President Obama and the Pope in Rome. But anyway, that's all stuff that I've been doing for the last 15 years. I honestly have got all the background knowledge into it, and I really, really want this town to wake up so much. It's been, thank you.
Okay.
I have to say, I did talk about this 10 years ago over my kitchen table with you, John, and you thought I was a conspiracy theorist. So please think again. It's happening. It's actually happening now. And it's right, you know, it's coming at us like a railroad train. We need to do something and do something now about what's coming at us, okay? Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity. Bye-bye.
Whoa, there we go. Conspiracy theorists. Buffering, is that buffering on the live stream? Just call me John O'Connor. You know that. You'll be back. You'll be back. Right, what are we on that one for? Right, there is one more. I know it's been a long-winded thing. I did tell you it's going to be a fairly long one. And yeah, it's up to you whether you listen to it or not, but I guarantee that now that those that have listened to some of this, if you didn't know anything about it, like Rich didn't early this morning when I spoke to him, which sort of gave me that little bit more of a push to get this out there. Again, not to frighten people, but to actually start asking questions, start looking into what's going on in the local areas. Like we've all seen things happen. You look at lockdown, for example, when we was all locked down, there was things happening all over the place that no one even noticed, changes being made and all that sort of stuff. This stems back years and years and years and years and years. And yeah, take on your tinfoil hat or take off your tinfoil hat, whatever you want to do. But it's interesting stuff. And if you haven't got time to listen to it all now, like I said, save it, listen to everything. I'll put the links to the videos that we've just watched in the description when this finishes. But yeah, it might be your area that they're doing this in next, you know what I mean? So yeah, good morning. Good morning, good morning. I've got Bold Finds in the building. We've got a few people in here still. I can't believe there's still people in here. Right, bear with me. Anyway, bear with me. I'm just going to quickly load up this next one because this summarizes my gut feeling to what I said. Do you remember on my live stream last week? So that live stream last week, I mentioned basically what them lot were saying in a nutshell, but also my gut feeling of what if it does go to the worst. And like, 'cause we was talking about it being a good thing, but what happens if they do start limiting access and all that sort of stuff? Yeah, Rich said he's never heard of it before. To say hello to each other. Yeah, feel free to chat amongst yourself. Sorry, I've not been too vocal on a chat. I just wanted to get these videos out there. I just wanted to get these out there, and you can search them. Just if you search 15-20-minute neighborhoods, it's going to come up. But yeah, let me just pause this and then get this sound on. This is, for those that don't know, again, Rich didn't know Jordan Peterson was, and I'm not judging you for that because, you know, people don't see what they are not shown. Do you know what I mean? You can't see what you're not shown, and if your algorithm's not pushing Jordan Peterson stuff your way, it will do now that I've mentioned him, and as will these 15-20-minute neighborhoods. This is how algorithms work. And again, not a conspiracy, but these things listen to us. And if you was to talk about a denim Lacoste hat, checkered, or something random, you can guarantee that you'll see an advert for it in an hour, or maybe by the next day minimum, latest, sorry. But yeah, anyway, without further ado, we are going to go back to another video. Jordan Peterson summarising this in a nice way, I suppose. Wow, is it a nice way? I don't know.
In Canada, Google attempted to collude with the Ontario government to make the new port development in Toronto into a smart city. And a person I know well who knows more about technological issues and issues of potential technological control, probably than anybody I've ever talked to in the world, more or less fought that to a standstill so that Google didn't get their hands on the port development in Canada. And his primary concern was that what essentially wanted was all the data that would be generated as a consequence of constant monitoring of absolutely everything that went on in the smart city, because that data is part of the extended digital self and has tremendous commercial value. Because if I can track you in all your purchases and where you're going and where you are, I can target you for marketing in a way that's been unheard of up until now. And so that's a huge can of worms. And in any case, that didn't happen in Canada. But now it's reminiscent to me as well of what's happening in the UK, most particularly in Oxford and Cambridge, in relationship to the 15-minute cities. Now, The 15-minute cities are put forward as a solution to the problem of undue distance to travel. And so the idea is that wouldn't it be lovely if we had walkable neighborhoods where everything you needed was within easy reach? And, you know, I have some sympathy for that because I've gone to monoculture suburbs, let's say, that are nothing but row upon row upon row of identical houses with no churches and no bars and no community centers, and, you know, the shopping centers at a distance. And that doesn't look like an optimal urban model. But I looked into the C40 websites. The C40 is the consortium of municipalities that have signed on to the 15-minute city plan. And I read in their own documentation, this is relevant to the tri-state city idea, that their goals are to reduce caloric consumption to 2,500 calories a day by force, essentially, within the next 15 years, to ensure that the peasant class, which is everybody but the elitists, can't fly more than one time every 3 years, to not merely shift private car ownership from fossil fuel to electric, which is fundamentally impossible because the grid can't handle it, but to eliminate 90% of private car ownership so that people are forced to take, you know, unbelievably expensive in terms of time utilization and non-existent public transportation systems, and to limit the amount of travel that people can do outside of their neighborhoods. And, you know, and then I watched the legacy media claim that pointing that out is something akin to a right-wing conspiracy, which it most certainly isn't, because you can just find the bloody documentation online. And then I look at places like China, which have taken this to an extreme. 600 million closed circuit TV cameras in China, one for every 1.5 persons, watching the Chinese all the time, able to monitor them 100% by face, and also to identify them by gait, and to limit their ability to do absolutely anything, to buy, to sell, to travel, to move, to leave their neighborhood, with this top-down surveillance system that perversely and consciously some of the Chinese engineers have actually named Skynet, and in a conscious attempt to produce a positive version of, you know, the absolutely catastrophic, apocalyptic artificial intelligence that was in the bloody Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. And you can't even talk about this stuff without sounding like a raving conspiratorialist, but there it is. Now, tell me more about the tri-state city. So what have you seen? Because I don't know anything about it, neither does anybody else watching, I presume, except for, you know, those who've gone down the rabbit hole with you.
I was reading a book about cholera a couple of years ago. I think it was called Ghost Map. And interestingly, towards the end of the book, the author, in an otherwise excellent book, started talking about these smart cities where, you know, basically everything, we don't have to worry about any disease anymore, that sort of thing. Last time I was in China, I got kicked out of Hong Kong in 2020. I was a bad boy. I was watching the protest, and they finally kicked me out after 7 months. But that was Hong Kong. But last time I was in mainland China, I was actually researching information more. I was in places like Nanjing and Shanghai and that sort of thing. But I was in southern China, where the Uyghurs are, for part of that trip. And I was talking with restaurant owners and farmers and that sort of thing. And various restaurant owners told me that when a Uyghur comes in, they are mandated by law to call the police immediately. The police immediately come to check. So the smart city goes beyond mere optics. You know, they're installing those cameras all over Hong Kong. They were doing that when I left. That's in Hong Kong. But over in mainland China, it's not just the cameras everywhere. It's also, you know, you're mandated to call. When I was in Hong Kong, by the way, in the protest, the protesters would take their lasers and shine them in the cameras and burn out the sensors. Actually, my camera got a little damaged by it. But you know, that's not a long-term solution, obviously. But what I'm getting to is these smart cities are clearly coming, and they're already here to some degree every time we use our cards and that sort of thing. But they're clearly taking it to a higher level of complete control. And again, this isn't conspiratorial. They say they're going to do it. I mean, talk about Mark Rutte, the Prime Minister of Netherlands. You can see Klaus Schwab going, where do you find such prime ministers as Mark Rutte? You know, did you see him say? I watch your Twitter, Jordan, and I watch a lot of your podcast. I know you know what's going on because you talk about it all the time.
Boom. Shaka. Lacquer. Get this guy out of here. Shut up. Get off. Who's this? Right, yeah, so that's that. there's some little, you know, it's fair to say that summarizes everything. That's why I need to get that. I wouldn't be able to put it in the articulate words of Sir Jordan Peterson, for example, and I feel like he summarizes it. It's a bit scary, yeah, a bit crazy, Sean. You're right. It is a bit scary, a bit crazy. And it's, you know, I don't want it to affect people in a way that it's going to scare them or put them at ease, uneased or anxious or, you know, anything negative. But I'd rather plant the seed now. I've been, like I said on the last live, I've kept quiet so many years from some of the stuff that I've been open to seeing. I don't know whether it's just I weren't searching this sort of stuff, but I come across certain videos, get told certain things. It's just the realm that I'm in may not be the realm that you're in, for example, and you're not seeing the same things. And it is all through an algorithm point of view, or your social network, or who you talk to on a daily basis. And yeah, I've seen this sort of stuff happen, pan out years and years and years. With the job that I'm in, didn't really want to talk about it too much. Felt like I couldn't really talk about it because you see people get cancelled, you see people get shut down, you see people get arrested, you see people go missing. Right, that's all I'm saying. And now we're at a point where this is happening in meetings, gatherings, community centres, and elections. This is happening. The people are talking about it, so I feel confident in talking about it. There's another one. I've got a list. I'll show you actually while we're here before I end, because I am going to end it. For those that have stayed in the chat, mwah, one love always. And I know there's going to be people watching this after. Mwah, one love always. It sounded a bit French. Yeah, let's just go back. Let's have a look at the. Hold on. If I just show you a list, where do I get to it? Of all of the episodes within the playlist. Let me go view playlists. Let me go back. There's a lot. I can't really get to it, but actually I can. What am I talking about? Playlists. Let's go there and then go to this one. View playlist. There we go. Yeah, so if I just share my screen quick, and then I'm going to say goodbye. Share screen, add to stream. So if you just look on here, I've got, there's loads. There's so many. These are just videos I've saved that I think would be interesting talks. If we start from the very bottom, what order are they in? Are they in the, let's sort them out into what was most recently added. Or no, date, sorry, not added, because the date, I've added these quite recently. Published, oldest. We'll go oldest first. So that goes way back when. So just look, the creepiest conspiracy theories that could be true, surprising facts about twins, the most secret places, the most absolute off limits, 7 things you do that are illegal, 5 creepiest unsolved internet mysteries, 5 most horrific things. So there's some nice little conversational stuff, you know, it's nothing too mad, but then there is some conspiracy stuff in there as well. 7 places that have no laws, and then you've got the importance of death, rituals, passing exams without studying, 7 terrifying monsters been discovered in space, what happened to the man that refused to salute Hitler, Mel Gibson's interview, on and on. These go back for years. Some of these are 4 or 5 years old. Actually, what was the oldest? 8 years. There you go, 9 years. So we're going back 9 years worth of stuff that I've seen. Oh shit. Stuff that I've seen that I thought, this is good. Maybe I wanted to talk about, but didn't feel confident enough. Stupid things like Home Alone 1990 versus Home Alone 2018. Just thought it was an interesting little sketch. What happened to the man that dealt with the devil? All sorts of stuff. We've got Rogan in there, got Russell Brand, Fed Up, Current State of Democracy, Elon Musk. I've got videos. Some of them are long, some 14 minutes, some 10, some are 49 seconds. Do employees look for creative people? Just little interesting bits. So some stuff, obviously, I could talk about, and I didn't have any fear in talking about, but you know me, it's the timing. It's getting it actually out there, and it's actually doing it. Neuroscientists, no eye doctor will tell you these simple methods. And this is a little trick. I'll tell you this one here, just before I go. We're on our phones a lot. We look at our screens a lot. We're always close up to either a TV, a PC, a monitor, or a phone. It's about taking these breaks from those devices. Obviously, we know that. or reading. It could be reading a book. It's not necessarily screens, but if we're using our eyesight on a close proximity, if you will, like a closer range, short sight, then we need to get outside if you can, obviously, or up to a window. But the glaze of the window doesn't, you know, it stops a lot of the benefit, if you like. Get out to a balcony if you can, or a hillside, or something outside, somewhere outside where you can set your eyes upon a nice horizon or a big space, and then just relax your eyes and sort of run these like figure-of-8 movements without staring at anything, but you're staring at everything, if that makes sense. And what you'll start to feel happen is you'll go from what was a very short-sighted vision, you've got now a panoramic vision, and you'll see this panoramic, we've seen panoramic on our phones, you'll see that sort of pan out, and it will get wider and wider and wider, and it's actually exercising the muscles within your eyes. And if you don't do that, your eyes are going to deteriorate quicker. And that is an awesome little fact. I've been trying to get the kids to do it more often. They don't, but I do it. But I haven't done it for about a week, so I'm probably going to do it. But I do go outside quite a lot. See, Mason will be upstairs playing the computer all day sometimes and come out just for food and farts. You know what I mean? But yeah, loads and loads of stuff to pick from. And I will be coming back with this. And the videos that I've just shown, appreciate it if you have watched through it. Look, there's vaccination stuff, there's Rogan stuff, there's more Jordan Peterson stuff. But yeah, there's loads of interesting bits that I'd like to have a chat about and talk about. And I did put the link in the chat. This wasn't really one where, although I just last night I was planning to get people on to talk about it and stop halfway through the video and, you know, commentate and blah, blah, blah. But I just really want to get you lot to see it, because what I don't want to do is for none of us to be awake to it. At least if we know what's going on, we can sort of put our point across if we get the opportunity to, or we can plan for the future in a little bit more safer way, or with a better mindset and a better way of thinking, so that when it does happen, or if things like that do happen, at least we're prepared for it in a certain sense. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, hope you're well, hope you're blessed. One love, Alvin. Yes, you're in the building. You've just turned out that watch it, Alvin. I'm telling you, there's some good bits on here. If you haven't got time to watch the whole thing, do a little bit of research. 15, 20-minute neighbourhoods. Do you think it's a good thing? Do you think it's a bad thing? What I might do is come back a little bit later, because I have got some wicked pickups as well. But I just wanted this to let you lot know that there is things happening, and it's definitely worth looking into. We've all got kids, or we've all got families with kids that are going to be the ones that are going to be experiencing this more so. But yeah, on that note, thank you very much. Look into it, make your own opinion, make your own mind up, and feel confident to come on next time, have a chat. And when I next go live, I will always put the link in the chat. You can sit and chat in the actual chat, because I like that, and that's good. But yeah, I'd much prefer to have someone come on and have a chit chat, and then we can just put our views and opinions across, because none of our views and opinions are going to be exact the same as each other. So, you know, we might see something, there might be some similarities, but this is what it's all about. On that note, I've drunk about 4 of these in the whole time I've been watching these and doing this with you. So yeah, I'm busting. I'm going to go for about the 15th wee that I've been for. One love. Can't end it on that. I wish I could, but I have to say bye. But yeah, watch back, Alvin. It's interesting. And yeah, as Sean said, thanks, chat. I don't need thanking. You lot need thanking for putting up with me. But yeah, I'll speak to you soon. I might speak to you in a little bit. Or if I don't speak to you later on today on my channel, I'll see you on Richie's channel for the Saturday Night Live. Mwah. One love. Stay blessed. Stay free. Stay free, and end this broadcast, Max.